Get ready for the show that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and maybe something that'll offend the hell out of you. It's the C&D No Bull Show, the show that discusses everything from politics to racing, breaking the issues down to terms even a prima donna can understand. So keep that Tylenol handy. Here are your hosts, Chris Mize and Doug Dock.
Got it.
What's happening?
Not a whole heck of a lot. Yeah, there is some stuff going on.
Yeah, we got 0 viewers.
That's good.
Maybe they'll jump on. I don't know. We're going to do the show. Hope I don't say nothing where it gets kicked off and you people don't get to see it.
Yeah, we'll ended up getting 30 days for that.
30 days in a hole.
Yep.
First off, want to thank our veterans. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do things we love in this country. So thank you. Want to thank our military serving overseas in the homeland, protecting our freedoms. First responders, police, fire, EMS, doctors, nurses, tow truck drivers. Thank you guys. You didn't quit during the pandemic. You didn't have that luxury of saying, you know what?
Right.
I have a fear of catching COVID, so I'll take the layoff and the extra. What's going to happen, Doug? June 26th was my prediction. All these people that were holding out, and when it comes time for them to go back to work, because they're going to go back to work.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, they're going to go, and that big money ain't going to be there. But I tell you this, some big prices are. They're not going down.
That's a fact.
So whatever. Shame on some of them. That's all I can say. Of course, you get a sign-on bonus, Doug.
Pretty much.
Bring that up. Sorry, people. I bring it up every week. It pisses me off. You get a sign-on bonus. If you go to work today and come off that, I'll give you a sign. What about us assholes that have been working every day?
Right. No matter where you go, you're going to find sign-on bonuses, even like McDonald's.
Yeah, I could just say to my boss, hey, do I get a stay? Can I have a stay-on bonus?
Stay on, yeah.
Yep, every Friday it gets deposited into your checking account, son. There's your stay-on bonus.
Right.
Keep working, asshole.
When it doesn't show up there, you're gone. You don't have to come back to work.
Yeah, when it doesn't show up, sorry. Sorry, folks, the bank's closed.
Have you got, and did you register for the Vax-A-Million?
The Vax-A-Million, yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you? So obviously you haven't won yet.
No. As Maddie would say, boring.
Right.
No, I haven't won. How many did they draw?
I think we just did our second one this week.
There's some people upset about that have a little poll, isn't there?
There's some lawmakers that are really looking into this and how DeWine spent the money, and a state rep, Jenna Powell. She's kind of leading this thing. And here's what, first of all, it has ticked up, and they have done a lot more since this came out. So that's a good thing. As elected leaders, we're obligated to take seriously our duty to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. Using millions of dollars in relief funds in a drawing is a grave misuse of money that could be going to respond to this ongoing crisis. Ohioans deserve better than this. I do hope people continue to get the vaccine and help our state reach herd immunity so our economy and way of life can thrive again.
I'll stop right there, if you would, just for a second.
Okay.
There's a word that you just said that pisses me off to no end, because we had a scientist and a doctor bring up that word about 13 months ago, and they're crucified for it. Herd immunity. Now
Right.
it's a common word with Fauci, and he's a whole nother story, but that's a whole nother 2-part show on him alone. But Fauci, the CDC, all these, everybody's now saying herd immunity, herd immunity, herd immunity.
Right.
Let me ask a question. We were told, and we'll get back to Doug. It just pisses me off when I hear that word, herd immunity, because that was a word that was banned, shunned. If you said that word as a scientist 14, 13 months ago, wasn't we told, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't we told that there is not herd immunity against this virus?
Well, there's so many strands now.
But I'm just, Dr. Dickhead Fauci, wasn't he the one that, doctor I didn't give to the Wuhan University Fauci, wasn't he the one that said that there's no herd immunity going to beat this? And let me ask, if you guys have a hard time signing on, would you let us know, please? Because we need to fix that problem. There's a problem somewhere with people signing on, Doug. I'm telling you, it's.
What do you mean? It goes to their Facebook.
No shit. And mysteriously, some people have a hard time getting on through Facebook.
Well, it might be because we break the news, we tell you the way it is, and a lot of times you're going to hear stuff we talk about months later.
Yeah.
And they don't like it when little Chris and Doug, they just blew us out of the water here.
With our little viewers,
Right.
We're gonna go nationwide news, right? So
right.
Facebook's gonna kind of crank down on us.
Right. That's what's going on.
Assholes. Anyways, seriously, this herd immunity word is being thrown around so much now. It's all you hear. The vaccine herd immunity. Well, if you got the goddamn vaccine, why should you worry about herd immunity?
Right, one or the other. Either we have herd immunity or we have the vaccine and we should be protected.
I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but...
No, you're not.
I mean, right. You're right, Greg. You're right. That's what's pissing me off. I don't want to break away from what Doug. I know Doug's going somewhere with this, but I didn't know he was going to say herd immunity. And that word just, it makes my skin crawl. It makes my hair stand up because it was one of the worst words you could use 13 months ago. Now it's being used frequently by the same assholes that was dead set against that word last year. Imagine that.
You are right.
Dr. Fauci and the CDC. So everybody's vaccinated and we reach herd immunity, and I about crawled out of my skin saying, you're the asshole that,
Right.
Go on, Doug. I'm sorry.
So anyhow, so what she says is this thing, this money, this $5 million could be going towards children's mental health initiatives because a lot of kids suffered through this, especially
a lot of adults. A lot of adults.
Exactly. And a lot of the, especially younger kids, didn't understand anything that was going on. And small business relief grants. So we knew this when it first came out. They're finally catching on. They must have heard what we were saying.
Yeah,
hey,
we heard the No Bull Show. Maybe they're onto something.
Yeah.
But we said this a couple weeks ago when he
first mentioned it.
We had Greg on, Kale on, we had Paul on. We had last week, 2 weeks ago, 3-4 business owners on that could have used grant money.
Mm-hmm.
Could have used even if it was $5,000, it was better than nothing. It doesn't matter, Doug, and I get it. People are going to fall. People are stupid, and I don't mean that in a bad way. People they're gullible. They're naive. They're going to fall for Oh, I was on the fence about getting a vaccine, but I'd get in a drawing and win $1 million.
I'm
I
all better.
wanted 3.4 million. What was it? 1 in 3 million chance. I mean, come on. You're either going to get the vaccine or you're not going to get the vaccine. Period.
Right.
Period. And that's just the way it is. And I'm not afraid. I've told you guys before. I got it. I've got it. I ain't felt right since. There's different things, but that's me. Other people I know have got it. They're perfectly fine. I know people that haven't received it that are perfectly fine. So to throw $5 million, it's over $5 million. To throw over $5 million out is according to Ohio law, this lottery is illegal. Well, I can tell you this. I would think the way they did it's illegal. It's an appropriation of funds. But I'm pretty sure that them lawyers down in Columbus and got it locked up. And that's why they threw it through the lottery. It was federal money, granted for COVID relief. And somehow there's going to be a loophole. There's going to be a loophole in there because for the vaccination, Lord forbid I say vaccination. Now YouTube would be there. The alarms are going off and the pot smokers that are supposed to, oh my God, he's saying it again. They're giving, we think he might give them, but I'm pretty sure there's a loophole somewhere, which is bullshit. You're right though, Deborah. In my opinion, that's a misappropriation of funds. Wouldn't you agree, Doug?
I do. And by the way, the getting this thing stopped, the Vax-A-Million is like a long shot. It's not going to happen. They're going to give $5 million away plus
scholarships.
The scholarships. So that's a done deal. And even if they tried to do something, bills normally require a 3-month waiting period before it's enacted. So
in order to stop that, even if it goes into court, Doug, the money's gonna be gone before a court ruling.
Yeah, and I agree, Deborah. They've been really, really quiet. We talked to Swearingen. What was his take on this?
Hold on, DJ's he's gonna get all upset. I didn't mean to put it up on your show. Goddamn you!
No, because I want to talk about his response because I think that's the general consensus.
Okay, real quick, we have our state representative, DJ Swearingen, represents this area right here that I live in, out where Doug lives, but we're the racetrack is that me and Doug both work. So I asked him, what's your take? What's your take on the VAC lottery? Philosophically, I disagree with it. It just feels inappropriate for government to be doing this. If the goal was to coerce people to get the vaccine, then it looks like it's going pretty successful. Coerce is a big word there, though.
Yeah.
He's not saying the goal was to get people to get the vaccine. Yeah, but to coerce. So there's a lot of politicians that are uneasy about this.
Yes, and I think that's a good word to use. They're uneasy, but not enough that they're going to try to stop it.
Well, because they got their bases covered in some loophole. Yeah, I'm pretty sure DJ Swearingen, Gavarone in the state senate, and you got all these. Nino Vitale, we can't find him, so his vote don't count. But
all right,
I can't read what Ravi said.
You'll be the first ones in the boxcars being taken to your safe space.
A safe space, yeah. But I'm pretty sure if they could try to go after that and stop it, legally.
I don't think they would. I think a lot of them are just like him. You know, it's
borderline.
Yeah, it's one of them gray areas that it's working for what it was intended to do. Should we have done it? Probably not.
No, he doesn't agree. We shouldn't have done it. You know, I read into that. It's bribery at its highest, but you know, it is what it is. But let me tell you this. Just getting off base a minute for a second again. You know, we got guys like Mark Pichetto running for, you know, U.S. Senate that doesn't fit the mold, that he'll tell you point blank that it's, you know, he don't agree with the way this is going and everything. He's not in yet. He runs in 22. But if we were to text him, you know, he would give us an answer back eventually on his thought process on it. These are kinds of politicians you people need to look at. I'm nobody. Doug's nobody. We're just average people, you know, worked at a racetrack that went through the pandemic and that. And I text a state representative and I get it. What, Doug? Within 3 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I was giving you that answer.
Right. Yep. These
are the people that we need in office to stop this bullshit. We need more people like this.
Right.
You know, and Blystone, in my opinion, is going to be one of them running for governor. You know, I mean, this is inappropriation of funds at its highest. And sooner or later, there's enough shit coming out about DeWine now. I see he's tied into the Fauci thing. I read something today.
Yeah, I didn't get to read through it all, but I did see that.
Yeah, I didn't read enough to make a comment on it, but he's tied in, you know, and it was.
She kind of sums it up with Ohioans don't want giveaways to mask DeWine's horrible policies for the past year. They want freedom. Now, you had a question last week about where the money came from.
I didn't. I got in an argument about
it. Yeah, I know you know where it's coming from, but you had somebody
say that it was state money.
Here's where it is. The prize money will come from federal relief funds that have already been allocated to the Ohio Department of Health. There's some early evidence that vaccinations have ticked upwards since the announcement. 2 other states have introduced their own version of a lottery.
Yeah, West Virginia's giving away something worthwhile. They're giving guns,
trucks, yeah, vacations inside the state.
So, oh my God, I can just imagine. They're giving away guns. You know, that group from San Francisco being West Virginia next.
Right.
And they're going, come on over. You know, but here's the thing. I would rather, if you're going to do something like that, I'd rather see what West Virginia's doing than giving away $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Here, at the end of the day, there's businesses out there that are right on the string. And now everybody's going to say, well, we're opened up. Ohio's completely opened up. We're opened up. No restrictions. We just went through 15, 16 months, you know, March, April, May, June, you know, so that's what, 15 months where these small businesses, not Walmarts and you know, roadhouses and stuff like that. These small businesses were drastically hurt. I mean, hurt. There's not a recovery for some of them. They're going to try now that it's opened back up, but they're hurt. They're hurt pretty bad. A $5,000-$10,000 check, Doug,
goes a long way.
Would have been more appropriate. And
yep.
I don't want to beat a dead horse. We were on it last week. You know, there you go, right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let me tell you something. If we put it up last week, and we'll touch towards the end of the show, Joe Blystone is a very intelligent individual, and he's not one of the political boys. He's not in the boys club. He's got a hard road to go because he's not in a boys club. And you know, if you don't, the bad part about politics right now, it's not so much Republican, Democrat. We know the left side, and me being still a registered Democrat, and I ain't figured out why I ain't went and changed it, but we know a lot of them. They're not. I don't know what their thinking is. A lot of the old school Democrats are thinking like what we're thinking, but they're going to stay blue. A lot of far red Republicans. Some of these guys are just crooked as the left.
Right. Right.
I mean, they call them rhinos for a reason. They're right here, Doug. It's not about you. It's not about you people out there. It's about who's lining.
Mm-hmm.
You go into the white, you go in Capitol Hill, it's not worth 500,000, and 10 years later, 12 years later, you're worth 40 million on $170,000 a year salary.
Well, I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago when Mark was on.
Yeah.
You got to have to get your name out there. You got to kind of latch on to some large business, something out there that can propel you. If you can't do that, you're basically an unknown dark horse.
Yeah. But let me tell you something. In my opinion, the unknown dark horses are going to prevail because the middle class. Okay, I can't speak for the upper class. And I'm not going to be an asshole and sit here. I can't speak for lower class. Middle class is what I'm in. That's what I know. I do know the middle class is sick of both sides and reaching for these dark horses. And that's why our little show, we put them up. I mean, we put stuff up. We tell people to share it, get the word out. And it's going to take people like this to stop this shit. DeWine's actions in the very beginning, we all got fooled. And even myself got fooled. I thought, man, this shit's going to wipe us all out. Another black plague. They don't know, hey, we're telling race car drivers in chat rooms to quit worrying about your race cars. Let's take care of our families. Let's watch over. We're going to shut down. And all of a sudden, shit wasn't adding up, Doug.
But DeWine did okay the first month or two. He was on it.
Then he became a Napoleon.
Then somebody got in his ear, Fauci or somebody, and that's when it all started going a different direction. Acting, yeah.
Here's the problem, Doug. They got power hungry. Okay, in my opinion, they like the power. Man, once you get power like they had, it's hard to rein somebody in back off that power. And
and see somebody who's going to give up their wage, whatever he's going to do with it,
charity.
That speaks volumes, because then they're not in it for the money. Power, I doubt it. If you were going for power, you'd want the money too. So that speaks volumes.
With money comes power. We all know that. It's but for Mark to sit there and say, and when people talk, you can tell sometimes when they're bullshitting you. They're just straight out telling you what you want to hear. Bullshit. When that man talks, there's a sincereness about him and a desire and an honesty about him that I feel. Now, maybe somebody else might not feel that. That's your decision. It's your, I can't.
Right.
But just like you said, when a guy says, I'm not taking a single dime, I don't need the money. I didn't want to do this, but I feel I have to.
Right.
He didn't want to. Who the hell would want to jump up into that and get your life scrutinized? His own party turned on him. His own party got him thrown off Twitter. I mean, Jesus.
Right.
And now, it's in the state of Ohio. I'm telling you. There's a lot of shit going to come down in the state of Ohio over DeWine and Fauci and the vaccine, this lottery. It's coming, you know.
Yeah, actually, Mandel was down in this area last week, drumming up some boats,
He's drumming, all right. That's what he was doing.
marching to a different beat.
Well, he had his chance. Where's he been? Where's he been the last 3 years? And how did he get so much money into his coffers? Well, check on it. See where it come from.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, of course, the GOP is going to back somebody like him. He's been there before.
Because he's yeah, good old boys club.
Yeah, he's in the boys club, and whatever. God bless him, but there ain't no way in hell I'd ever vote for him. You know, you heard it on here. Mark point blank said he spent 1.8 million on commercials,
Right. Yep.
50,000 at a time.
Right. To skirt around the legalities.
You know, I'm telling you, Doug, I got to point the right way. There you go, right there.
Yeah.
That's starting to come out too. He does. I seen that too, and like I said, I didn't research that enough to comment, but you brought it up, not me. So supposedly somewhere down the line, you'll see that he has stock in Pfizer. Isn't that a conflict of interest? I get it. You buy stocks and everything, but when we're in a pandemic,
but
and they're pushing for a vaccine. If you own stock in Pfizer,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden that becomes one of the number one, along with Moderna, and vaccines.
But I would say to you, what's that got to do with me? They make medication. That's what their job is.
That's fine. I understand that, but the big push on this, and he owns stock in it. I mean,
He didn't push one way or another.
He didn't have to. There's only 2 manufacturers for a long time.
Right.
I mean, what the hell? I'd sit back and go, yeah, I ain't gonna say a goddamn word about my stock.
Exactly, but I don't know what you wanted him to do. I don't think there was anything that he can do.
It ain't no different than Nancy Pelosi's husband buying all that stock in Tesla, and the next couple of days after that, Biden announces he's going to go to all electric cars for government. So what's the difference? Yeah, well, I can honestly believe I don't think that you got to worry about it with this guy. I can tell you one of the U.S. representatives, not state. I honestly believe one of the most dedicated U.S. representative we got's in Ohio, Jim Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I think Mark is another Jim Jordan myself, to be honest with you.
I agree.
You're right, though, Greg. I mean, got to watch everything in politics. I've been fooled before by, people in a lot less positions in politics. But it is what it is. We're going to find out what the state level is going to do about this lottery, Doug. We're going to see.
Yep. So here's another tidbit. 11 days before Trump was inaugurated, Obama lifted the block on gain of function research, and the Pentagon gave $69 million to the Wuhan lab as well, under the auspice of national security.
If she said it, I can't doubt it, because don't you remember when Obama was leaving office, all that money he just boom.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. What was that like in November, December of 15? He just,
mm-hmm.
money was going to all kinds of countries for different shit.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure if you dig into a lot of shit, will make us throw up right here on the spot. You know, but you know, Greg, you're right. You got to watch everyone. Every person you do your research on. You know,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I can tell you, Joe Blystone don't need the money. He don't need a headache either. He's got very successful, business. He don't need the headache. Don't need the money. But he's tired of seeing what we're going through. I mean, socialism's coming. They're trying to push it down our throat so bad it ain't even funny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd almost rather see Bernie Sanders sitting in office than this clown we got.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm gonna try to remain calm tonight.
Okay.
And not flip out, but
Okay.
It's
because there's certain words that you can't say now.
Really, which ones?
The MFR, you can't say that no more.
Why not?
Yeah, I know you don't normally say that, but that's what Will got kicked off for 30 days.
Will Patterson?
Uh-huh.
Well, he should have said gender neutral.
Well, watch his live. He did one, I think, yesterday or last night.
He should have said gender neutral. Now we got people coming out, and I put it on my Facebook page, but it's the truth. We should not call a baby he or she until that baby can talk and decide on its own.
Come on.
Huh?
Come on.
We actually have stupid people that believe that we should do that. I mean, then you got the teachers. Not all the teachers, so don't people get all bowed up and upset. Right. But you got teachers with their own agenda. Why are they teaching? Why are they trying to teach their political agenda in schools? Their political agendas. And it only seems that nothing's really done about it unless it's a right side agenda. Then something's done and everybody. Left side agendas go through, it's okay. We're teaching gender neutral, what gender, transgender, this in schools. That has no place in a school system.
Do you know why you're not hearing a lot about it?
Yeah, because the goddamn media isn't going to say nothing about it.
Well,
because we got people sitting at the top at the White House that's okay with this shit.
Well, I have a little bit of a different opinion on it.
Well, you probably got a better opinion than me, more educated.
I think the kids don't understand it enough they just think it's another day in school. They're not understanding this. So
go ahead, Doug.
Remember, they want 16-year-olds to vote.
Yeah, we got to tell them not to eat Tide Pods.
Right.
Okay, right. But you can vote?
Right, you can vote.
How can you, let me ask a question. We sit here and we say, well, at 16, they should be allowed to vote. But yet, you can't own a gun until you're, 21 now?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So you're not responsible. So this is how fricked up our country is. See, I didn't say it. So
that's
Facebook.
Nice.
Aha.
Got you on that one.
I got you. So, this is how messed up our country is. You're not responsible enough to own a gun till you're 21. You're not responsible enough to drink a beer or something until you're 21. And they're pushing the cigarettes 21. You don't know what's best for you until you're 21, I guess. And then the day you turn 21, poof.
You are a brainiac.
Yeah, the brain fairy comes and drops some more brain cells in your head. So, but you're responsible enough to vote on major things that control our government. You're responsible enough at 18 to sign into the military be handed a weapon, and be told, go over there and shoot these people.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
All that's okay. But what agendas we don't want, gun control and everything, we're gonna put that over. Now we teach the kids when they're in school, we teach them guns are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Guns are bad. Gun violence, gun violence. No wonder why them assholes want them to vote at 16. And this is what I'm pissed off about, Doug. A lot of public schools are letting the teachers have their own agendas and spread that shit. And it's not their job. That's not their job. Teach history, the shit you're taking out of the schools, because some group says that's offensive.
And this is going to lead us into something, but teachers are considered role models. So if you got a kid that doesn't really understand politics, and your teacher is, I don't know, giving their opinion or whatever, it's going to be one side or another, because they're not going to be down the center. That's what they're going to go away with.
Joe, hit it. Put that comment up Joe Given just put up. You don't think if you got a school levy in your school area, your district, what are these teachers going to tell their kids in class? Hey, you're 16. You need to vote for this. That's all they're going to. You need to. I don't give a shit what your mom and dad say. You need to vote for this. This is better.
Right.
This is for you.
Yeah.
Don't matter what your mom and dad say.
Yeah.
Don't matter that they've lived through a bunch of shit and seen a bunch of waste. That don't matter. You need to vote for this. It's all. You're right, Joe. It's all for the agenda.
I know somebody who drives school bus for a local school district here, and before the pandemic, he had 30, 40 kids on the bus. He has 6 now. And I go, you're really running a bus? He said, the other day I didn't have any. And I go,
just drive around, blow the horn. Hey.
Hi, everybody. I'm still working.
I got to put 20 miles on it, whether I got kids or not.
That's kind of what he said. We got to do it or we lose funding. I'm like, as a taxpayer, I kind of get a little pissed about the way you guys think. You're just going to go drive around just because, knowing that you're not going to have anybody on that bus.
Yeah, but drive down to the school parking lots. You want to know what's wrong with the country? One of the million things wrong.
What?
Drive down to the school parking lot. Some of these kids are driving better cars than me. Their parents are going out and buying them cars. They're making $400 payments for a kid to drive a car to school.
Right.
Remember when your first car barely ran?
Right.
And your parents looked at, well, you better learn how to work on the son of a bitch.
Yep.
They're not doing that no more. Shop class. I just went through a shop class taken out almost every high school. They teach college. Now our trades are hurting. And you know what's sad? I can take a 22-year-old kid that went through an apprenticeship for any trade, mechanic, operator, any trade. I can take a kid. And at 22, when he's considered a journeyman in today's world, he's going to be making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000. Kids are coming out of college right now because it's so flooded. And I'm not saying college is bad, so don't nobody say, "Oh, my son is saying college is a bunch of shit." But
I would. I say that to everybody.
But college, you're coming out $80,000 in debt, and you can't find a job because them fields are all flooded or being taken over or shut down, whatever. So you're working for $11. Well, not in today's world. Hell, you go to Cedar Point and work for $20 an hour, but you're working for $11, $12, $13 an hour. You can't make enough. Your debt's not going to get paid off for 30 years if you're lucky. And this is what we're teaching, though, Doug.
Well, let's back up a little bit. you cannot legally sign a contract if you're under 18, but you can vote at 16. That's
Yep.
a good point.
It's just like the hormone pills. You take hormone pills, according to that fat that's our assistant to the Secretary of Health in Washington, D.C. Yeah, she's all for you take hormone pills that aren't FDA approved yet without your parents' consent. But cut your arm at 15, go down to the hospital, even at 16, and see if they'll give you stitches. They got to call your parents and everybody in.
And this would have set me sailing if this was my kids. I would have went nuts on this. It should have been give a reason why whoever you're supporting is better than the other. Not the way it was put out. Jeez.
Why Hillary is better than Trump? You know what my answer would have been? Because if she says, if I say she's not, I might commit suicide the next time.
Right.
I might unintentionally commit suicide. But
no, Chris, that did not pass. That's just a lot of talk right now.
Who?
The voting.
Not yet. No.
At 16.
No. Not yet, but you know when it'll pass, they're pushing for another stimmy check.
Yeah.
You know, and when everybody's out buying big screen TVs, and I don't know how many big shit by now, everybody ought to have one in every room. As much money as we're giving out, I mean, but you watch, there's going to be some kind of distraction.
Okay, yeah, I agree with this too. So anyone working a 40-hour week should not live below the poverty line. That's according to Biden. But they give money to people who don't work or work 0 hours a week.
Don't make sense.
All right.
It all falls back to the sign-on bonus. Please come off the unemployment. We'll give you $1,000, $500 sign-on. And the people that have been working there the whole time go, what?
Right, exactly. You know, we always had that problem where I worked is whenever we did a wage increase for people coming on, people who were there went nuts. You know, they're making more than I did, and I've been here for 5 years. Yeah.
Guess you better renegotiate. I don't know. You know?
So, did you play sports in school?
Did I? Yes.
Yeah. So, your coaches, did you look up to them, or did you just think they were just?
Let me tell you something. I looked up highly to my coaches. There's a coach that I only had for 2 years. He lives here in Sandusky. His name's Al Pujo. I'll say his name straight out. One of the best coaches I ever had. If Al Pujo called me, sent me a message right now and said he needed help, I'd go to him. I got all kinds of coaches I looked up to in high school. Dave Katasic's on my Facebook page. He was a basketball coach of mine. I mean, I got a bunch of them. Mike Stahl. Yeah. And let me tell you something. They used to beat my ass. It wasn't like nowadays where they can't yell. They grab your face mask, yell at you, scream at you, throw you down. But go ahead.
So basically, if they led you into war, you'd go.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So let's talk about this here.
I know. So you just set me up.
I did. So this is out of Canton McKinley. Staff punished a player for missing a voluntary workout.
And what was his punishment, Doug?
Well, he had to eat
a
pizza, not a pork chop.
Pepperoni pizza.
A pepperoni pizza.
Which has pork.
Yes. And that young man was a Hebrew Israelite and has those religious beliefs. Jewish. They don't eat pork.
He was Jewish.
Yes.
And they don't eat pork.
Correct.
Did they deserve to get fired? knowing that kid was Jewish? Yes.
Did they what?
Yeah, they deserve to get fired. Knowing that
Well,
kid was
now,
Jewish. Wait a minute. Knowing that kid's Jewish. Knowing that.
how'd they know?
Oh, boy. I ain't answering that because then the next thing I'll be called a racist against Jews and everything else. And geez, oh, Pete. You know, I mean, come on. It's not, you know, trust me, you know.
They just have a different look.
Yeah, you know, they were their.
Okay. Yarmulke.
If the kid said, I can't do that, it's against my religion, I'm Jewish, you got to stop with that and then order mushrooms on a son bitch. Say, there, eat that.
Some bitch.
You know?
So the coach's attorney said that he was given an option of chicken nuggets and refused that. Now the whole staff was
Why
fired.
are we making somebody eat food for a punishment? I don't get that.
Especially,
you know what I used to get? You used to get kicked in the ass, and they'd say, "Okay,
run laps,
bear crawls, bear crawls."
Yeah.
I'll tell you when to quit. Goal line to goal line, goal line.
Right.
But we've become such a sissy nation that that's considered cruel punishment. You know, or anybody who went to Edison High School knew McIntyre Road back in the day. You know, all right, hit McIntyre Road. You had to run McIntyre Road, and that was a bitch. Full pads and back. You know, something like that. That's on. But you know, making them eat, I don't know. I don't.
Listen, he was given an alternative of chicken nuggets.
Where's the fillet? That's kind of smart ass I am. Where's the fillet? I'll take hot dogs. You know, whatever. Why? Why was there a punishment of food? I don't get it.
Well, I agree with you on that because number one, you want to be in shape, not eat pizzas, the whole pizza.
See, I would have been happy. Hell yeah. All right. Well, I don't understand. What's the joke on this one? You're giving me a pizza?
Okay.
You know.
So now your coach got fired. Now, what do you think?
It depends.
Would you, with this situation, would you be upset about it? Or would you say he had that coming?
No,
Actually,
I would have, I'd ate the goddamn chicken nuggets, dude. I mean,
no, you're a bystander. You're just one of the team players, and you watch this go down.
I don't. Back in my day, if it was one of my coaches, yeah, I wouldn't be playing no more.
You would have said, "Not for me."
But you know, you get rid of my leader, I'm leaving.
Okay, so they got fired.
I'm going to take criticism for this, but that's just what I would have said back in the day.
They got fired from football, but they are still teachers.
That don't make sense.
There you go. There's where we're headed with this.
That don't. Well, why'd you let me go around and now everybody's going to be sending me hate mail? Oh, you're a Jew hater. You know. You agree with it, you know. But, that don't make sense. How can you fire him from the football team? If it was that big a deal to be fired as a coach, you should have been expelled as a teacher. And here's my philosophy. Let me do a flip on you. Mm-hmm. I'm on the other side, and I'm the one firing them for this. My thought process is, if they did it as a coach, they're going to do it as a teacher.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. Why are they still teaching if they think that way? That they would trample on somebody's beliefs to that degree, I guess, is what
because there was probably some whore deal cut backyard, you know, in the back room. Some parents met with the superintendent of the schools and the principal and the school board in a closed door session and said, we're okay if he's not a coach no more because he don't play my little Johnny, you know, along too. You fire him as coach, you keep him as teacher though.
So
Tell me that don't happen. You want to talk about politics, how that shit goes down in politics. You honestly think that's the only place that kind of bullshit goes down? Politics? It goes down everywhere.
Right.
I know city inspectors in Cleveland right now. If you walk to a watch, somebody be knocking, can you name them inspectors?
Right.
White envelope every week. You get it. You're good. Sprinkles.
Well, remember what happened a few years ago?
Yeah, it's called the Justice Center of Cleveland. Everybody went to prison for it.
Right. So now this kid's, I guess, scarred for life because he's not going to go back to that school. These teachers are still teaching. They got fired from their coaching.
Grow the frick up. This is the problem.
He's undergoing psychological counseling.
I'm sure all the kids are nowadays. Don't you know that? All the kids are, And here's the bad thing of this. There ain't no person in this comment section that ain't had one sad story of their life they can tell you about. I'm telling you right now. Not one sad story. Everybody's got a sad story. I've not been the best person in my life. I could tell you a couple stories that make you shake your head, but I moved on. I didn't need I need psychiatric help. It ain't from that though, but
right.
I moved on. I'm not, that's where our generation is. Now they're going to let these kids vote. They're going to let these kids vote. That's freaking life. So what? This kid goes on to make a living. He gets older, 25, 26. And his boss says, you need to do this. Well, I don't believe in that. And he gets fired. And we're going to need psychiatric help because of that situation. This is what we're growing up. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, right. Paul, I know better. I mean, we're not preparing our youth for the real world.
Let me ask you this. I'm sure there's some things that you would not allow to happen to your kids. If that happened to your kid, you'd do the same thing.
I'd do what?
Well, I don't know that you would get a lawyer.
You want me to tell you? My kid played freshman football. He was playing 8th grade freshman. I knew the coaches. I'll tell you the same thing my dad told my coaches. Listen, my kid acts up. Kick him in the ass. I don't care. You do what you got to do to straighten him out. He's not going to be a smart ass. I'm not going to be that parent comes, oh my God, he grabbed him by the face mask and shook him around. What are you doing? It's a contact sport. It's discipline. Right. It instills discipline in a kid. It teaches. No, I would have probably looked at my kid and said, well, once you told him you're Jewish and you didn't, they gave you an option, a mushroom pizza or chicken nuggets, you should have took a free meal, kid, instead of come home eating my food. Whatever it was. That's what I would tell him, Doug. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's what I would have said. Listen, I don't go for this. Everybody gets a trophy bullshit. I don't go for this. Everybody makes a team stuff. It's like racing. One person's going to win. 4 others are going to bitch about the person that won. It is what it is. We don't hand trophies out to everybody that shows up.
Even at the youngest level, the youngest levels.
What level's he at?
Well, I'm talking.
What level's he at? What level's this kid at? Let's talk in this situation. What level's he at?
He's a high school.
Right. So pretty soon they're going to allow him to vote. He's going to have the right to vote.
I'm talking about your participation trophy.
No, I don't believe even at the youngest levels you teach kids that. I do not. I mean, when I played Little League, you had a winner and you had a loser. The championship team got trophies. You went home with nothing.
Right.
You know what that taught you? Even at a young age of 8, 10 years old, it taught you to go work harder to win the trophy next year. You spent a year pissed off that you didn't win that trophy.
Right.
you know, and all the other kids spent a year showing you the trophy. You know, that's the way it was. You know, I mean, no, I don't believe we should have participation trophies. I don't believe everybody should make the team. I don't believe in that shit. I think it's wrong. It's not teaching our generation anything but to be coddled. They got to learn failure somewhere down the line and learn how to deal with some kind of failure. Instead, what we do now, if there's failure, is we run little Johnny to the psychiatrist. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's that teaching them? No matter what happens in life, you can run somebody and somebody's going to feel sorry for you.
Right. Well,
you know, real quick, he got a boot in the ass and he moved on. That was, you know, I mean, let me tell you something. My days when I grew up, there'd be a whole bunch of parents sitting in jail right now in today's world.
right.
Because they call it child abuse.
I agree with you.
You know, you didn't, you know, you wanted something, you got the necessities. I had a good life. Don't get me wrong, people. I had a good life. I was an asshole. The ass whoopings I got, I should have got 50 times more. Trust me. I had a good life. But you wanted them $100 tennis shoes? Your parents bought you the necessities. You got nice shoes. You got this. You wanted to. Well, there's a lawnmower, kid. Go mow lawn. Go make some money. I'm not handing it to you. You want a better car? Work. Get a better car. We don't do that no more. We don't. It all comes to what I said. We got kids driving better cars than most of us in the parking lot. And
That's
the parents
true.
working overtime to pay for the son bitch.
Right.
There's no, what thought process is that? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, I now being a grandpa, I don't have to look at it that way.
There you go.
Huh? I don't. I'm a grandpa.
Right.
You know, but I guarantee you, I know Greg. I know Paul. That shit didn't fly in their house. They wanted something, they had to work. Their kids had to work. Sammy's out in the garage. I know Zach's out in the garage. I mean, you want to race, work on the car. That's a good mentality. You know, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. Not everybody's made for college, Doug. Not, and we're teaching our kids. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I run into this, guys. We're way off what we probably should be talking about, but I don't care. I run into this in the racing world. I'm old school. I have a certain way I do things on the radio, and that's that. I've done it for years, and I catch shit about it sometimes. You can't talk to my kid like that, and then quit putting your kid in a man's world. Am I wrong, Doug?
Nope.
I mean,
I agree.
I didn't make that choice. You made that choice. He's out there racing against your 15-year-olds out there racing against 40-year-old men.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to talk to him any different than I talk to that man. And if you can't accept it, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, here's your trophy, or as most people know, here's your Snickers bar.
Right. Hey, calm down.
But we're teaching our younger generation to be pansies, and we blame them. We call them the millennials. Well, the millennials this, the millennials that. They don't understand. Well, where'd they learn it? Tell me where they learned that. You want to change the world? Start at home. Start at home with your kids. I mean, I'm not telling you how to be a parent. I'm pretty sure every single one of us screwed up being a parent. I know I have. Tell your kids. Teach them.
Right.
An enema. Just don't tell a guy he's going to get an enema when he doesn't understand it. But
Right. Oh, okay.
okay.
I'd like to.
Mom, what's an enema? But you know, and now we're going to let them vote. Now we want them to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going into a subject, kids in high school. So he ain't very far off that 16-year-old age. Now, he was just taught, I get it. It's against his religious beliefs. I understand that. The Catholics always used to eat through Lent. You couldn't eat meat on Friday. That's the way it was when I was a kid growing up, So, if somebody said I had to eat meat for punishment or fish, I was choosing the fish and moving on and praying to God they didn't tell my dad that I was being a little asshole, because I got it when I got home.
Right.
I grew up in the days when you got your ass whooped in school.
And then at home.
And prayed to God they didn't call home.
All right.
Because the minute you walked through the door, you knew if they called home, because you got it again. At twice as hard as what you got it at school. And them days need to come back.
I agree.
But we got too many parents out there teaching their kids that, oh no, you're right. You should have made that team. I'm going to bitch. Everybody makes the team. It ain't life. We're not teaching life. Our schools are taking history out and replacing with shit.
Right. Well, we don't have one because they're tearing it all down.
Yeah.
All right.
We could have voted, a bunch of us at 16 then, Joe, because a whole lot of us was doing some kind of work, mowing grass or something at 11 years old, picking cherries, strawberries, whatever. I mean, I don't even know when my Social Security payment started in. It was a long time ago. Minimum wage is $3.05 an hour.
I'm gonna we're gonna move on.
Thank you.
All right.
Now that I'm probably getting hate mail.
No. If people hated you like they do,
the Jewish Association is going to be saying, Mr. Mize, can we talk to you?
All right. Yeah, come to the track some Saturday night. You can talk to me all you want.
Well, I ate a hot dog.
I'm just going to play this video. I'm just going to let it play through, and then we'll talk about it after it plays. Is that fair? About 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
you can sit back, smoke a cigarette, drink, listen to what's being said, and then we'll talk about it. Here.
I know nothing about this, people.
Well, you kind of do.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Get me worked up and then play a video.
Let me make it full screen. Let me do one more thing here before we do that. Hi.
I'm small again.
Your little Chrome tab. Okay, here we go.
Good morning, all. People out in the bleachers, would you like to come in a little closer and be a little more friendly? Don't be standoffish. I have a COVID pin that absorbs all COVID virus. Welcome. Pleasure to see so many of you turn out to honor and pay our respects to those who gave our lives while serving our country. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Barney Kempter. I'm an alumnus of Hudson High, class of 62. For those of you who want to do the math, that puts me about 77 years old on that. Many of you have read my posts on Facebook. I grew up in Hudson. Now you have an opportunity to put the face with those posts and enjoy them. It's history of Hudson going on. 5 years ago, I had the honor of addressing the group at the Memorial Day service here, at which time I brought to life several of those young men who you remembered that were here today. This is a Memorial Day. It is the day we pay homage to all those who have served in the military and didn't come home. This is not Veterans Day. It's not a celebration. It's a day of solemn contemplation over the cost of our freedoms. Memorial Day was born out of necessity. After the American Civil War, the battered United States was faced with the task of burying 600,000 to 800,000 men and women who had lost their lives in that service, both Union and Confederate. It was the biggest, bloodiest military conflict in American history. The first national commemoration of Memorial Day is attributed to Arlington Cemetery, May 30th, 1868, where both Union soldiers and Confederates were buried. Several towns across the country claim fame to being the first Memorial Day service, where people went out, decorated graves, and which remains a central activity of Memorial Day. But something different has happened in recorded history that we're not aware of. It wasn't until a remarkable discovery in a dusty Harvard archive that in late 1890s, a historian discovered several interesting newspaper clippings and handwritten notes. Memorial Day was first commemorated by an organized group of black freed slaves less than a month after the Confederacy surrendered. Recent years, the origins of how and where Decoration Day began has sparked lively debate amongst historians. However, Yale historian David Blight, asserting the holiday is rooted in a moving ceremony, was conducted by freed slaves on May 1st, 1865, at the tattered remains of a Confederate prisoner of war camp. It was a Charleston, Washington racecourse and jockey club, today known as Hampton Park. The ceremony is believed to have included a parade of as many as 10,000 people, including 3,000 African American school children singing the Union marching song, John Brown's Body. They were carrying armfuls of flowers and went to decorate the graves. Interesting that there would be a tie back to Hudson with that song from John Brown. Most importantly, whether Charleston's Decoration Day was the first is attended by Charleston's black community. Hey, Jay, Mike. We'll continue on. This is why you moved in closer, so you can hear this. Okay. Most importantly, 2 weeks prior to the ceremony, the former slaves and workmen exhumed a mass grave with 240 Union soldiers and officers. They then took those remains and buried them in individual graves with honors. Now, each soldier was given a proper burial. They constructed a fence to protect the cemetery site and erected a sign over the entrance that reads, Martyrs of the Racecourse. The dead prisoners of war at the racetrack must have seemed especially worthy of the honor that former slaves had in treating their remains, because there was a tie between the slaves at that time and the Union officers and soldiers, because both suffered imprisonment and mistreatment by their captors. Not surprisingly, many white Southerners who had supported the Confederacy did not feel compelled to spend a day decorating the graves of their former enemies. I can understand that, being in the military. But in following years, it was the African Americans in the South who perpetuated and kept alive the Memorial Day tradition at that time. Now, my generation, probably some of you, grew up listening to the radio and listening to Paul Harvey, the commentator, who at the end of his specials would say, now you know the rest of the story. Well, now you know the rest of the story about Memorial Day. If you visited this morning's tribute to the fallen heroes, on what we old timers referred to as the village green, all the men that were described there shared something in common. And that was their oath and obligation that they swore to.
I'd love to listen to him more.
Blow it back up.
Huh? You want to listen to the rest of it?
No, because we already know where this is going. Tell the rest of the story, Paul Harvey.
So the rest of the story. This is the Hudson
American Legion.
and they actually cut the mic during the time that he was talking about the blacks,
Slaves.
Huh?
He was the freed slaves.
Yes, the freed slaves, marching down and putting flowers and things down there. This was what had happened was, and this was just last Monday.
Yeah.
Last Monday, this happened. They asked him to speak. He sent in his speech and said, "This is what I want to go over." And they sent it back and said, "We have highlighted the parts that you need to take out." And it was all about, from where he started, about the part that you don't know about. And he said he did not respond because it was less than 24 hours from when he had to do the speech. So he just let it go. So when he started speaking, the commander, I think is what they're called in the American Legion, told them to cut the audio. Yep, cut the audio on it. And now you know the rest of the story. Since then, and this just happened over this past week, the commander has resigned. A couple people got fired from the American Legion, however that happens. They are going to shut down that particular American Legion, which is the American Legion Lee Bishop Post 464 in Hudson, Ohio.
Now, let's go back on. This is a lieutenant colonel. A lieutenant colonel. How long, Doug?
He was in service for
1965 to
1995. Yep.
30 years. He went through the Vietnam War. Said several tours. I think you were telling me. Several tours of Vietnam War.
Yep. Persian Gulf.
War veteran. Desert Storm. He was there. Went through that. War veteran. Speaking highly of everything that went on, teaching us history. I never knew that. That's how Memorial Day come about. I learned something with what you were telling me, what he said. Right. But we got people out there that are so ignorant that they're so worried because of that, they cut them off. You cut off a person that fought for your freedoms. And he was there for the whole Vietnam War. Atrocities none of us ever want to see. We don't even want to talk about it, even in the dark room back in the back corner. We don't want to talk about it. We treated them like shit when they came home. You know, they got no heroes welcome, no medals. And, then he goes and he serves in Desert Storm, I'm sure, as an officer. And we have an audacity to treat our veterans like that? No way. No way. Because they were teaching us history. And it didn't fit certain people's agenda, and they were too scared that it was going to cause a controversy. This is bullshit world we live in.
It is.
What kind of country have we come to that we disrespect our a lieutenant colonel? 30 years to this country, and we disrespect them that bad? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It should be a crime, but I know it can't be, but it should be. Instead, you should walk up and thank them for teaching you a part of history that I had no clue about. And I guarantee you, every person that's watching this show had no clue. That's how Memorial Day started. I never knew that. And we don't care. Take a guy that's highly decorated, lieutenant colonel, did his time for this country, and treat him like he's some piece of shit, just turn the mic off.
Yeah, if you want to hear that, because it is pretty cool speech, the links in chat. It's the Akron Beacon Journal that shared that.
Have we become such a society that we can't even teach history? We can't even talk about history because it might be offensive to some or the other. It's history.
Sidney Suhan is the president of the American Legion Auxiliary, said it was either her or Jim Garrison, the adjutant of the American Legion, who turned down the audio. When pressed, she wouldn't say who specifically did it.
Well, no, the guy that's doing the audio probably did it because he was told to do it.
Well, let me tell you,
shit answer.
And
some balls. If you're going to cut and disrespect a veteran, have some balls and admit that you did it.
Right. And just so that you know, the audio was subbed out to a company to do it. So that's why that disclaimer came up that the audio lapse was not due to them, because it made them look bad as well. Because, I mean, people probably called, so why'd you cut his mic off? And it was being televised on public TV there in Hudson or and around that area.
You know, if anything, I'm going to touch a touchy subject in today's world. If anything, this actually shows tribute to the African American.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
It shows tribute.
Yep.
I don't get it. So, in my opinion, they didn't just disrespect that lieutenant colonel; they disrespected the African American community. It's part of history.
Created yet another divide.
Another divide.
Golly. In a town like Hudson, which is a really, really small town. Really small.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure she ain't getting woman of the year. But, I mean, this is where we've gone. This is how we teach schools, too. We don't want to teach it because doesn't fit our agenda, doesn't fit what we want right now, so we just don't teach it.
Right.
We go by it.
Right.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether they fire them people or not, it will. I'd never go in there. Not until the public apologize and everything else. I mean,
well, the American Legion post is going to be disbanded.
Might as well. Hell, you probably had all the members of it withdraw. You know, but
right.
This is this direction we want to go as a country, and you know, as far as 16-year-old kids, half these 16-year-olds that we got in this country now, they're looking at them ribbons on us. Oh, that man killed somebody, you murderer. The only reason you're allowed to say something stupid like that is because that man went and fought in a foreign country for your right to say it.
Right.
You know, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, don't get me wrong. It's there. Freedom of speech is there. You can say anything you want to say, freedom of speech. There's consequences that come with freedom of speech, people. And there's consequences with every action, you know, and you know.
All right. Do you have something going on there?
No, I'm just.
I just heard something.
No, that's the neighbor kids.
Oh.
See, we got parents around the neighborhood. God bless them. They make their kids go out and play. They're not allowed to sit in on playing Grand Theft Auto. That's still okay to watch.
Right. Right.
They took Pepe Le Pew off, so now they got to go out and play.
Speaking of that, since you brought up cancel culture, I want to know if you know who this is. A real picture taken back in the late 1800s. Tell me if you know who this person is. Right in the middle. Who is
Saint
that?
Jemima.
There you go. Now, the background is all the people who came to see her because she was a cook, and she
Yeah, I
made
wanted her pancakes.
then yes, and she did this throughout the, she did her tour, and she's gone now because somebody just thought
That was discriminative.
yes, and she's got a smile on her face, and all these people back here are waiting, and they
To
said
see
the
her.
line, said the line went out the door and down the street because they wanted to get some of her pancakes.
It's like Uncle Ben's.
Yes, he's
They're
gone
taking that
too.
off.
Yep.
They're, I mean, I'm waiting for them to change Cracker Barrel.
Maybe.
Honky Tonk Joe's.
So
It's the cancel culture.
yeah,
But we can have songs like we've touched on, Song of the Year.
yeah.
We can have Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, all this. That's okay.
She,
Lord forbid the prince comes in and kisses Snow White while she's sleeping to wake her up. That's wrong. We got to act on that.
was unwelcomed.
But Grand Theft Auto, watch it. Any of you people ever never watched it? Go to YouTube and watch somebody playing Grand Theft Auto. Listen to it for 5 minutes, and you tell me that's okay. What they do on there, that's okay. When we're worried about Pepe Le Pew and Dr. Seuss and Snow White,
The other thing is she was paid to do this. She wasn't sent out there to do it with no pay.
She was paying. She owned Aunt Jemima pancakes. What do you think? She did what everybody does. She was smarter than a lot of the generation then. She was out on tour.
Right.
Hell,
Exactly.
thank God for her. She probably created rock concert tours doing that.
So now, if you want to find it, it's called Davis Milling Company, I think.
Oh no, Joe, that don't ever happen.
Davis Milling. I just can't believe that we canceled out somebody who enjoyed what they did. They're famous person
and very successful,
and because this group of cancel culture people decided that they didn't want her image on her pancake mix. She's gone now. Mrs. Butterworth. I had that today.
What?
Mrs.
She's
Butterworth.
gone too?
No, she's still around.
Oh wow.
Now that we mentioned it, she may be gone.
Poof.
Sprinkles.
Well, we're not allowed to say Mrs. Gender neutral Buttersworth.
No, you know what? I have to look at that. I think it's MS Butterworth.
But it's still referring to,
It's Ms.
How do you know if she wasn't live today, she'd want to identify as a man? Mr. Butterworth. This is what kind of world we live in.
I guess it is.
Santa's got it right. He's putting a bill through in Florida. Robbie Sisco ought to be proud he lives in Florida. He's putting a bill through. You're not teaching that shit in schools. Period. That's not for the government. That's not for the schools or anybody else to decide. That's something that's kept inside the house, discussions with parents. Parents. It's called parenting. Did we lose that structure somewhere down the line? The parents are not, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Are our parents to this culture, what are they doing? And I'm not talking all of them, Paul. I know not in your house, but I mean, what are they teaching them? You want to be gay, you want to be a lesbian, that's fine. I don't care. I really don't care. It's your life. You live it. Don't push it down my throat. Don't push it down my throat.
But if if your kid came home and said that, wouldn't you have a discussion with them?
About what? If he wanted to be gay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have a discussion. I'd ask why. Because I tell you what it is, some of it, and I'm going to catch shit about it, and I don't care. Facebook, you take it off. I really don't give a shit what you do. You're a bunch of idiots, too, that go to the left agenda. So, whatever. You can hold Trump's head, sever it off his shoulders, and leave that up there, and it's okay. But Lord forbid, we talk about the lesbian and gay community. Oh, well, But, yeah, I would ask why. Because I honestly believe at a younger age, it might be the hip thing to do. It's a hip thing to do. If they come out and said, this is why, and it made sense, it is what it is. I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to change it. If that's truly what they are, I'm not going to change that. I might not like it because I'm not, but I'm not going to change it. Okay. 20 years ago, it was a different world. We were taught different, Doug.
Yep.
Now, it is what it is. But don't push it down our throats. I get it. That's the life you want to live. Okay. This is the life I want to live. Don't tell me about how I'm wrong because I'm not living the life you want. Don't tell me you don't understand. You're right. I'm not gay or lesbian, so I don't understand. I'm heterosexual. Maybe you don't understand my point of view because you're gay or a lesbian. So yours is right, your opinion's right, mine's wrong. That's the culture we live in. We're not taking everybody's opinion and understanding how people feel, everybody. We're taking certain groups' opinions and how they feel, and that's what's going to get jammed down our throat, and it's bullshit. And Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all of them are heading that direction where you better see this agenda, and if you don't agree with it, we're going to throw you 30 days in a hole. Big deal.
Right.
This country ran fine before Facebook, MySpace, Twitter. It ran fine before cell phones, Doug.
Yep.
You had to go down the corner. You always carried quarters. You had to go down the corner. Drop a dime. How many of you people ever heard that saying? Anybody 40 years old or older, I'm dropping a dime on your ass. It meant you went to a payphone and dropped a dime. Made a phone call. Now, shit. You don't have to look in encyclopedias, research anything. All you do, yeah, me too. All you do is pick up your phone and Google it. And Lord forbid it's something Google don't want to talk about because then you ain't going to find it. Parler learned that the hard way.
I think it was the Pentagon said that they would not fly that flag at the Pentagon, and I understand that. I mean, they don't have anything to do with anything.
I mean, we pick and choose what flags we want to fly, and if you really want to get into that, I'll get into that discussion. I don't care anymore. We pick and choose what flags we want to fly. The Confederate flag. We don't even want to talk about the Confederate flag now. It stands for slavery and racism. That ain't what it stands for at all, Doug. When that flag was made, go do the research. I don't have time. I knew at one time. I don't have time to think in my head of what it actually stood for, the red, blue, and the white stars. But I get it, whatever. But you're not allowed to fly that flag. Well, because it's offensive to some people. Maybe the rainbow flag's offensive to some people. Maybe other flags are offensive. What about their opinions? Don't matter. It don't matter. And in my opinion, when you start saying You're allowed to do this, but you can't do this. You're taking the rights away from somebody, and we're heading into a communist state when the government tells us you can do this, you can't do that. You can take a shit over here, but you can't shit over there. You can, no, it's not right. Yeah. You know, I tell you what, you brought it up, not me, but I'd like to know Black Lives Matter and Antifa and Al Sharpton's opinion on Joe Biden now. He wasn't even sworn in all last year. One of the things he pledged if he became president was police reform. Remember that, Doug?
Yeah.
Police reform. Police reform. You're right. We need police reform. He got all them votes from Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and all them there. Oh, yeah, he's going to do police reform. He got elected. And then it was sometime in December, I believe, wasn't it, Doug? He had a meeting with Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and Al Sharpton was there. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that police reform like that.
Right.
Where was that on the media? Where was that front page? You know what I'm saying? Where was that?
Yep.
Before you rap on the American flag and what it stands for, before you beat up on that, stop and think how many people died for that flag and for this nation. You're not just making a stand today, the thing this month's to beat up on the American flag. You're not making a stand. You're making a stand against many lives that were affected because somebody served.
Right.
To fight for that flag. Thank God somebody did, and we have that flag. You burn a flag in front of me, you're getting your ass stomped. I'll go to jail for assault. Big goddamn deal. You burn a flag in front of me, I'm stomping your ass. You might beat my ass, but I'll tell you what, you'll bleed in the process. If I got to bite your goddamn calf, I'll take a chunk right out of it. It's just not right, Doug. And I don't want to hear it's your right.
Right. Oh.
Go tell some of the young women that got 2-3 kids that are under the age of 5 that their husband didn't come home or their mom didn't come home because they lost their lives over in the Middle East in the last 20 years or whatever. Go tell them that it's your right. Them kids are without a mom or dad the rest of their lives fighting for your right. And you can't even honor them. It's a sad country. Sad country. I work at a certain facility. Go ahead and kneel during the national anthem. You'll be escorted out. It's our right to escort you out and refuse business. Fight that. And if we got so much rights and you're allowed all these rights, go tell that to the baker down in Oberlin. Remember that, Doug?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go tell that to the guy baking cakes in Oberlin, what he went through. When Oberlin College backed him and it cost him his business almost. What was that lawsuit he won? Like $5 million, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You're right, Joe. You're right. It ain't about Black Lives Matter. It ain't about White Lives Matter. It ain't about Asian Lives Matter. It isn't about Mexican Lives Matter. It's about American Lives Matter. Period. Simple. Plain and simple. And if you're non-resident of this country, you're not an American citizen. Sorry. Hate to break that news to you. You're not a citizen. You're undocumented. We don't know if you've been in here 5 years or 6 months or 2 days. You're undocumented. There's a reason why they call it undocumented.
Right.
Go back. Now we're going and giving money to what, Honduras and what other countries?
All over the place.
All over to do a research on why there's an influx to the border. Well, it's simple.
Hey, we're going to pay your country to figure out why people want to leave it.
Yeah, it's simple, real simple. Because you open the gates. You open the gates.
Right, now the border's closed.
Yeah, Here's a news flash. Go down on the border and take a look, hooker. The hooker.
All right. We've been on over an hour and a half. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad I ain't got a dog, or I'd be animal
the
abuse. I'd be going and kicking the dog. I can't kick Debbie. She'll whoop my ass.
No doubt. I agree.
Go in there and kick her foot or something. What? Yeah, whap, whap, whap. And talk shit the whole time, smacking the shit out of me. I'm sorry.
Have you heard any more from Joe Blystone?
I'm going to talk to his people. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. I talked to him last week, beginning of this week, I believe it was, wasn't it, Doug? Last week.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, they said that they would be interested in coming on the 13th, next Sunday. I'll talk to him this week, see if we get Mr. Blystone on and his opinions. I mean, we're a small little show, and he's all about, you know, small little shows like this and people we reach. I mean, unfortunately, I feel Facebook's messing with us a little bit. I don't know why. It ain't like.
You never know.
It ain't like we're Howard Stern or something. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't know why. I kind of laugh about it. I mean, we must be saying something that somebody wants to hear. Facebook's going to.
Right.
YouTube, you know, we brought up the vaccine tonight, so I'm sure, you know, YouTube will have us off in 3 days with some. We think you gave some misleading medical information. Mislead this, you know. So I'll watch my language a little better so I don't give them another reason. But, you know, that's why I said freedom of speech does come with consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. But hopefully Mr. Blystone will come on next week. We'll have that out as soon as I get that confirmed. Tell your friends. I don't want you to tell them, hey, watch this show just because we want more people on the show. Honestly, we could give you a shit if, you know, we don't care. We ain't doing it to try to impress nobody. Trust me. But, I mean, tell your friends. If Joe Blystone's coming on, tell your friends to tune in and listen to this, man. Go to YouTube. Look up some of the stuff, some of the speeches he's done. Mark Bakuta. Go watch him and what he believes in. Might change your mind on how you look at politics. They're regular people, successful businessmen. Does this sound familiar, Doug? Successful businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
Not really wanting to get in the political arena, but felt a need that they had to. So, you know, oh, man, there you go. Tell your friends, you know, hopefully we get Joe on. These people are not wanting to be politicians. They don't want to be career politicians. They're very successful in their businesses. We don't need career politicians. We need successful businessmen to run our country and state. That's what we need. It's got to be run like a business, and we're running it like a bunch of whores. Period. That's what we're running like, Doug. We're running like a bunch of whores right now. I tell you what, I got more respect for hookers than I do our politicians. At least they're honest and tell you what they are. You know, I mean,
all right. And you have to pay up front, not pay later.
Yeah, but you know, it is what it is.
Right.
You pay up front, and so I'm told you pay up front, you know what you're getting. You know, you vote a politician and thinking one thing and you get another.
Right.
You know, and they take your money. So what's the difference? You know, I got more respect for hookers and whores. Now, these politicians get in. I won't say DJ Swearingen or Teresa. No, I'd never say that.
Yeah,
DJ,
there's some good ones. There's a percentage that are very small.
Nothing will ever convince me anything against DJ Swearingen. That guy's a stand-up guy. I'll talk good about him till I die. So, all right, people.
All right.
Thanks for watching. God bless America.
See ya.
Good night.